That's all right, Mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right, now, Mama. Any way you do. Since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel. I'll be just a lonely baby.
The 50s was an exciting time in general, with James Dean and Tony Curtis was acting, and with music, we had rock and roll coming on the scene, and Elvis was at the top of the pinnacle. It was an exciting time, the music's exciting, and Elvis was very exciting.
At the time, I was 15, and I became an Elvis fan through a boyfriend at school, and he asked me if I'd heard of Elvis Presley, and I said, who? The name was quite strange. And then it wasn't until he invited me to his home and played a few Elvis Presley records, and I was hooked.
It's difficult to say what's so special about Elvis. From a fan's point of view, everyone's got different reasons. A friend of mine told me a good quote the other day which came from a friend of Elvis's, and he said, to those who understand, an explanation isn't needed, and to those who don't understand, an explanation isn't possible.
You ain't nothing but you ain't nothing but a
My very first record I bought was Hound Dog, and on a 78, and I played it on a record player I was fortunate to have at the time, but no electricity, and I had to run a wire from my home to my next door neighbours to play my very first Elvis record.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go.
How dare you think such cheap tactics would work with me?
Made my life complete. And
tactics, honey. It's just a beast in me.
And I did like the dance sequence, which blended in very well in the film.
Although a lot of people knock Elvis's films, I do think they're very valuable. I grew up watching them, all my friends grew up watching them, and I knew him as a movie star before I really knew him as a singer. And if you look back, you could say these were the first pop videos.
Elvis himself would prefer to have stronger roles.
Elvis Presley has just been awarded call-up papers, and it's into the barber's shop. Now he's on GI pay and cool, real cool, around his ears. It's the barbershop rock that really knocked Presley.
The most publicized soldier since Napoleon, Elvis Presley, with girlfriend Priscilla Beaulieu to see him off, was leaving Frankfurt at the end of his army service. So it was farewell to military glory and to 16-year-old Priscilla. What fame for that girl to have been a friend of the Emperor of rock and roll.
Elvis is on his way.
It's Elvis cooking up a storm of entertainment in Clam Bake. It's a bikini bake. It's a song bake. It's a Fun Bake. It's Elvis in Clam Bake.
Viva Elvis! Viva Anne Margaret! Viva the excitement when these two let themselves go on a wild and woolly whirl through Funtown, USA.
While Elvis was in Hollywood, of course, all his music was based around his films, and the only thing really being released was soundtracks until the end of the decade in the 60s.
I don't think he was given the chance or the opportunity to star in really good films.
It's now or never. Come hold me tight. Kiss me, my darling. I was born standing up and talking back. My daddy was a green-eyed mountain jack because I'm evil. My middle name is Misery.
Absolutely superb.
Well, I really love the 68 special. It was the first time Elvis appeared again in front of an audience, and he's got so much energy. His voice has really matured. He looks fantastic, and especially at the end when he sings "If I Can Dream," that's such a good message song for the time. And even when you see it now, it still moves you. It's absolutely wonderful.
Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas!
I think Elvis was absolutely incredible in the 70s. Unfortunately for Elvis, he died in one of the most unfashionable eras, and his stage attire has just been ridiculed over the years, and I think it's a shame when people don't realise what Elvis was really like. They get their impressions from impersonators and things like that.
For many, it was all just too much.
The day Elvis died was my real first Elvis memory.
I was in my kitchen cooking a meal for my then fiancé.
I was 8 years old.
We were due to get married on the 20th of August.
I was actually getting a lift to work, and the driver told me that Elvis had passed away.
And I couldn't understand why everyone around me was crying, and
it took a long time to sink in, and I didn't want to believe it.
It was devastating. We just couldn't believe it.
It really shocked me.
That was the saddest time in my life.
And I was very broken up that day, I can tell you.
The cause of death is cardiac arrhythmia due to undetermined causes.
I'm just numb. How many days? I hate it. I can't believe it. How do you feel? Terrible. I wish I would never come.
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time.